Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the B segment of episode 64 of The Loud House, Breaking Dad. We begin this segment at the Loud House, where we see Rita calling out to Lincoln and 9 of the 10 Loud sisters to let them know that it's time to head off to school. So we see those Loud siblings rush off to school, but they appear in the form of a dust cloud. After that, Lynn Sr. enters the room. He's not wearing his usual sweater, and he's holding a cowbell, too. We quickly find out that Lynn Sr. and Kotaro are going to go to a festival that's dedicated to cowbell music. It's called Cowbella, and it will last for 2 days. Rita requests that Lynn Sr. and Kotaro drop Lily off at daycare before they go to Cowbella. Rita says something along the lines about how she needs to get to the dentist office quickly because it's going to be a busy day there. And Lynn Sr. agrees to drop Lily off at daycare before going to Cowbella, and the Loud parents exchange goodbyes. A little while later, we see Lynn Sr. and Lily are just outside of the Loud house waiting for Kotaro to arrive. Suddenly, Lynn Sr. receives a message on his phone. After reading this message, he immediately calls Rita to let her know what this message says. It turns out that this message reveals that the daycare is closed for today because a kid flushed a diaper down one of the toilets, which caused the daycare to flood. And apparently this isn't the first time that this happened. Lynn Sr. wonders if Rita can return home to watch Lily while he and Kotaro go to Cowbella. Rita reminds Lynn Sr. That today is a very busy day at the dentist office. She brings up that all 5 of the Fox quintuplets are getting their cavities filled, and they only have enough gas for 4 of the 5 Fox quintuplets. One of the Fox quintuplets hears this, but Rita quickly calms this Fox quintuplet down. Lynn Sr. then wonders if he could just drop Lily off at the dentist office, but Rita says that it looks like Lynn Sr. is going to have to miss the first day of Cowbella. But Rita tries to cheer Lynn Sr. up by saying surely the daycare will be open again by tomorrow, which means that Lynn Sr. should have a chance to go to the second day of Cowbella. After Rita hangs up, Lynn Sr. is disappointed that it looks like he's going to miss the first day of Cowbella. Suddenly, he sees Bud Grouse outside, and Lynn Sr. gets an idea. Lynn Sr. greets Bud Grouse, and he wonders if Bud Grouse could babysit Lily while he, Lynn Sr., and Kotaro go off to Cowbella. Bud Grouse responds by saying something along the lines about how he's not an expert when it comes to babies, and he also adds that he gets the impression that babies don't really like him. Lynn Sr. tries to assure Bud Grouse that Lily will get along with him, Bud Grouse, but Lily starts to cry when she sees Bud Grouse, but Lynn Sr. tries to claim that these are tears of love in his words. Bud Grouse still isn't interested in babysitting Lily, so Lynn Sr. offers to make a lasagna for Bud Grouse. Bud Grouse says that he wants 10 lasagnas, so Lynn Sr. and Bud Grouse start to haggle, and eventually they both agree that Lynn Sr. will make 5 lasagnas in exchange for Bud Grouse babysitting Lily. So after they've come to an agreement, Lynn Sr. says goodbye to Lily, gives Bud Grouse everything he needs to watch Lily, and then then Kotaro arrives, and then Lynn Sr. and Kotaro head off to Cowbella. So eventually, Lynn Sr. and Kotaro arrive at Cowbella, and they quickly join the audience in participating in Cowbella. Suddenly, Lynn Sr. receives a call from Bud Grouse. Bud Grouse tells Lynn Sr. that Lily won't stop crying, and Bud Grouse says that the crying is so loud that he can still hear the crying even when his hearing aid is off. Bud Grouse says that that the deal is off. He's not going to watch Lily anymore, and Lynn Sr. will have to return home. But Lynn Sr. Urges Bud Grouse not to give up, and says that that the best way to get Lily to stop crying is to talk to her with a British accent. And then Lynn Sr. starts to say some sentences in a British accent to guide Bud Grouse with this advice. Bud Grouse does repeat the sentences, but he doesn't bother to use a British accent. But despite not bothering with the British accent, Lily does stop crying. And Lynn Sr. can hear that Lily stopped crying over the phone. Lynn Sr. is glad to hear that Lily stopped crying. He can hear that Lily stopped crying over the phone. And Bud Grouse says that he wants another lasagna in exchange for him continuing to watch Lily. And Lynn Sr. does agree to add another lasagna in addition to the 5 that they initially agreed to. After that, Lynn Sr. hangs up and resumes participating in Cowbella. A little while later, we see Lynn Sr. and Kotaro are continuing to participate in Cowbella, but then Lynn Sr. receives another call from Bud Grouse. Bud Grouse says that Lily is constantly throwing her toys at him, and Bud Grouse says that the deal is off. Once again, Bud Grouse says that the deal is off, but Lynn Sr. urges Bud Grouse not to give up, and Lynn Sr. Gives some advice to Bud Grouse by saying that pratfalls will usually get Lily to stop throwing her toys. Bud Grouse, though, points out that he's very elderly and says that it's not a good idea for someone his age to perform pratfalls. Lynn Sr., though, offers to add another lasagna in exchange to the 5 they initially agreed to and the one that they agreed to the last time during the last phone call. Yes, Lynn Sr. offers to make another lasagna in exchange for the 5 they initially agreed to and the additional one that they agreed to in the previous phone call. Bud Grouse does agree with this offer, and so he performs a pratfall, and Lily does stop throwing her toys. So Lynn Sr. can hear this over the phone, and he hangs up and resumes participating in Cowbella. At a later point in time, Lynn Sr. and Kotaro are waiting in line to use some porta potties, but then Bud Grouse calls Lynn Sr. once again. Bud Grouse says that Lily won't eat any of the food that he's trying to feed her, and Bud Grouse says that the deal is off yet again. But once again, Lynn Sr. urges Bud Grouse not to give up, and he mentions that he has a homemade recipe. Yes, Lynn Sr. mentions that he has a homemade recipe that he knows Lily will always eat. This homemade recipe involves peaches. So Bud Grouse finds this homemade recipe, and he does try to feed it to Lily, and Lily does eat this homemade recipe. And Lynn Sr. is glad to hear that. Yes, Lynn Sr. hears this over the phone, and he's glad to hear that Lily is eating this homemade recipe. And then Lynn Sr. finally gets his turn to use the porta potty, and Bud Grouse quickly urges Lynn Sr. to hang up the phone, and let's not go any further than that. So a little while later, Lynn Sr. and Kotaro are continuing to participate in Cowbella, but then Lynn Sr. gets another call from Bud Grouse. However, Bud Grouse is calling this time not because of any problems. Bud Grouse assures Lynn Sr. that everything is going okay. Bud Grouse simply called Lynn Sr. to Bud Grouse simply called Lynn Sr. to request borrowing one of his Lynn Sr. sweaters because Lily spat up on Lily got some spit on Bud Grouse's shirt, so Bud Grouse was wondering if he could borrow one of Lynn Sr.'s sweaters. And Lynn Sr. Says that it's not any trouble, and then Bud Grouse admits that he already borrowed one of Lynn Sr.'s sweaters. So we do see Bud Grouse wearing Lynn Sr.'s sweater. And Bud Grouse says that he thinks everything will be under control for the rest of the Cowbella event. So he says that Lynn Sr. can enjoy the Cowbella event from here on out. So yes, Lynn Sr. assures Kotaro that they'll be able to participate in Cowbella until this day is over. So Lynn Sr. and Kotaro continue to participate during the first day of Cowbella. So after the first day ends, Kotaro drops Lynn Sr. off back home. So yes, Lynn Sr. and Kotaro say their goodbyes and look forward to the second day. So when Lynn Sr. Returns, Lynn Sr. enters his house, and then a little while later, Lynn Sr. enters the Loud house, then some time passes by, and Lynn Sr. has made the 7 lasagnas that he agreed to make for Bud Grouse. So Bud Grouse takes the lasagnas, and he's about to leave, but then Lily starts to call Bud Grouse Dada. Lynn Sr. Tries to point out that he's Lily's dad, not Bud Grouse, but Lily keeps calling Bud Grouse Dada. Bud Grouse finds it amusing that Lily thinks that Bud Grouse, is her dada. And Lynn Sr. claims that he thinks it's adorable, but really he's not happy about this. Bud Grouse then leaves with the lasagnas, and Lily is looking out the front window while Bud Grouse leaves, and Lily continues to call Bud Grouse Dada. And Lynn Sr. Starts to panic when he sees that Lily is still calling Bud Grouse Dada. So later on, time passes by, and Rita eventually returns home, and she sees that Lynn Sr. Is lying down on the couch in despair. Rita wonders what's going on, and Lynn Sr. admits that he requested Bud Grouse. Lynn Sr. admits that he had Bud Grouse babysit Lily while he went to Cowbella. But Lynn Sr. says that he's regretting doing that because Lily is now calling Bud Grouse Dada. Rita, though, tries to cheer Lynn Sr. up by saying that Lily is just starting to get used to using words. Rita tries to cheer Lynn Sr. up by saying that Lily is just starting to get the hang of using words, and she figures that Lily probably doesn't know who any of her relatives are at this point in time. But then Lily arrives, and she is calling Rita Mama, and Lynn Sr., this only reaffirms Lynn Sr.'s fears that Lily no longer thinks of him, Lynn Sr., to be her dad. Lily calling Rita Mama convinces Lynn Sr. that Lily really thinks that Bud Grouse is her dad. And Lynn Sr. runs off, and Rita comments that Lily's timing was not very ideal, to say the least. So the next day rolls around, and this scene begins the same way the segment started, with Rita calling out to Lincoln and 9 of the 10 Loud sisters that it's time to head off to school. And those Loud siblings do rush off to school, but like the beginning of this segment, they only appear in the form of a dust cloud. And Rita then reveals to Lynn Sr. that the daycare is open again, so Lynn Sr. Can drop Lily off at daycare, and he can go to Cowbella. Lynn Sr. can drop Lily off at daycare and go to the second day of Cowbella with Kotaro. But Lynn Sr. says that he's not going to go to the second day of Cowbella. He's going to bond with Lily in the hopes of getting Lily to call him Dada again. So Rita, though, thinks that Lynn Sr. Rita thinks that Lynn Sr. Doesn't have to go to such dramatic lengths. Rita thinks that Lynn Sr. doesn't have to resort to such dramatic lengths, and says that, and thinks that Lynn Sr. doesn't need to, Rita says that Lynn Sr. doesn't need to go through such dramatic lengths, but Lynn Sr. is adamant about getting Lily to call him Dada again. So Rita, though, decides not to really press the topic any further, and then heads off. So Lynn Sr. Is determined to do whatever it takes to get Lily to call him Dada again. So the next scene shows Lynn Sr. reading a story to Lily, and he reads the story with a British accent. And after that happens, we then see Lynn Sr. Changing. He's later changing Lily's diaper, and he performs a pratfall. And after that, Lynn Sr. is feeding Lily that homemade recipe from earlier, the one involving peaches. And Lynn Sr. is hoping that these different activities will get Lily to call him Dada again. And Lynn Sr. constantly makes a point to keep repeating that he is Lily's dad. But then when Lynn Sr. Takes his sight off Lily for a moment, he sees that Lily has head outside. Lily went outside through the little doggy door. The little doggy door that's at the back door. On the door in the kitchen, there's a little doggy door, and Lily goes through this doggy door to go outside. So when Lynn Sr. goes outside to see Lily, Lily sees Bud Grouse, who's raking leaves, and he's still wearing Lynn Sr.'s sweater. And Lily calls Bud Grouse Dada. And Lynn Sr. is frustrated that Lily is still calling Bud Grouse Dada. So the next scene takes us to the Royal Woods Mall, and Lynn Sr. figures that being away from Bud Grouse will make it easier for him, Lynn Sr., to get Lily to call him Dada again. So Lynn Sr. notices Lily being interested in a balloon. So Lynn Sr. decides to get a lot of balloons for Lily, but Lily starts to float away from holding so many balloons. So eventually, Lynn Sr. ends up just giving Lily one balloon, and then they're passing by a toy store, and Lily notices a teddy bear, and Lynn Sr. decides to get a teddy bear for Lily. So Lynn Sr. gets a giant teddy bear, but Lynn Sr. doesn't pull the entire teddy bear out of the store. So when the automatic doors close, they close on the teddy bear's neck. So at a later point in time, we head back to the Loud house. We're in the backyard. The giant teddy bear has its head attached to the rest of it again. And Lynn Sr. is pushing Lily on a swing set. And Lynn Sr. is hoping that this will help Lily. This will help in getting Lily to call him Dada again. But eventually, Lily starts to say Dada, and at first, Lynn Sr. thinks that Lily is talking about him, Lynn Sr., but then Lynn Sr. sees that Lily is still calling Bud Grouse Dada when she sees Bud Grouse. And Lynn Sr. is in despair that it looks like his efforts aren't working. So at a later point in time, Lynn Sr. and Rita are in their room, and Lynn Sr. Is in despair that he's lost Lily forever. That's along the lines of what he says. Lynn Sr. says something along the lines about how he's lost Lily forever because he chose Cowbella. And Rita is trying to cheer Lynn Sr. up, but Lynn Sr. Decides that it's too late now, and he thinks that that if Lily is happy spending time with Bud Grouse, then he will have to make peace with it. That's along the lines of what he says. So he calls Bud Grouse and invites Bud Grouse over for dinner tonight. He says that Lily would enjoy spending time with Bud Grouse. And Bud Grouse does agree to join them for dinner under the condition that they have lasagna for dinner. So later on, Bud Grouse does arrive at the Loud house. And Bud Grouse is not wearing Lynn Sr.'s sweater anymore. He's just holding it. He says that Lynn Sr. can have the sweater back. Bud Grouse said that he didn't have time to wash it, and he didn't feel the need to wash it either. Lynn Sr. So Bud Grouse is handing the sweater back to Lynn Sr. But then Lynn Sr. notices Lily saying "Dada," but Lily is not paying attention to. Bud Grouse hands Lynn Sr. his sweater, and then Lily starts to say "Dada," but she's not saying "Dada" towards Bud Grouse. She's saying it towards Lynn Sr. And Lynn Sr. is surprised to Lynn Sr. is pleasantly surprised. Yes, Lynn Sr. is pleasantly surprised that Lily is calling him Dada again, but he doesn't understand why this is. But then Lily manages to get Lynn Sr. to drop his sweater, and Lily starts to wrap herself around Lynn Sr.'s sweater, and she keeps saying "Dada." Rita then realizes that Lily was calling Bud Grouse Dada because Bud Grouse was wearing the sweater that Lynn Sr. usually wears. And Lynn Sr. Is glad to hear this. Lynn Sr. is glad to hear that's the reason why Lily was calling Bud Grouse Dada. So Lynn Sr. Begins to hug Lily, and then he tells Bud Grouse that Lynn Sr. calls out to Bud Grouse to let him know why Lily was calling him Bud Grouse Dada, and he's questioning he's saying how wonderful it is that Lily knows who her actual dad is. But then the Loud parents see that Bud Grouse has already started eating the lasagna, and he comments along the lines of, "Oh yeah, that's cool," about Lynn Sr.'s joy. And that is how we end this segment. So this segment features Lynn Sr. in a prevalent role. Yes, I would say that Lynn Sr. was the viewpoint character for this segment, but Lily was also a spotlight character. And Bud Grouse also played an important role in this segment too. So yes, like we mentioned in the recap, the main plot for this segment was Lynn Sr. having Bud Grouse babysit Lily while he and Kotaro went off to Cowbella. And after the events of the first day of Cowbella, Lily starts to call Bud Grouse Dada, and while Lynn Sr. is led to believe that this is because of Bud Grouse spending time with Lily, we eventually find out that the reason is actually because Bud Grouse was wearing Lynn Sr.'s sweater. And I thought that was an interesting touch. It does remind me of how some people in real life do associate certain visual cues with people that they know. Or yes, if certain people in real life do wear if people in real life have recurring elements in their wardrobe, then some people are likely to associate certain colors or outfits with certain individuals that they know in real life. And I bring this up from personal experience. There are plenty of people I know in real life that are able to recognize me because of this. I tend to wear this a lot, or at least this color. Yes, I do tend to wear orange shirts out in public, and a lot And when I've reunited with some friends or family members at these other gatherings, they're immediately able to recognize me because of the orange shirt. So I did think that was an interesting touch. And in Lily's case, since Lily is a baby, it would make sense that Lily would associate certain wardrobes or certain articles of clothing or certain colors with certain members of her family. So I thought that was a pretty cool detail. And I did think that was interesting because it's not just for babies. That can happen too, like my own experiences with friends and family being able to pick me out in a crowd because of my orange shirts. So I thought that was a pretty cool detail. And I guess you could say it also does bring up that situation in cartoons where cartoon characters tend to wear the same outfits all the time, bearing a few exceptions. So maybe it was also a joke that references cartoon characters wearing the same outfits all the time, but I thought it was a pretty cool revelation all the same. And it was definitely hinted at. Yes, it was definitely hinted at to be the case all along because this happened after Bud Grouse started to wear Lynn Sr.'s sweater, and Lynn Sr. was shown not wearing his sweater at the beginning of this segment. So they definitely hinted at the truth for why Lily was calling Bud Grouse Dada. And while that was the case, I know some fans were confused about how Lily still recognized Rita to be her mom when Rita returned home after the first night of Cowbella. Yes, when Rita returned home, and after Rita tried to convince Lynn Sr. That Lily probably doesn't know who any of her relatives actually are, Lily does approach Rita and calls her Mama. But some fans have pointed out that Rita wasn't wearing her usual outfit. So some fans were wondering, how did Lily know that Rita was Rita when she wasn't wearing her usual outfit? But she confused Bud Grouse for Lynn Sr. because Bud Grouse was wearing the sweater that Lynn Sr. usually wears. Now, some fans have speculated maybe Lily recognizes Rita by some other method besides her outfit. I'm not entirely sure, but that is the popular speculation that I see going around. That's the speculation I see some fans offer to try and rationalize that detail. So otherwise, Bud Grouse, like I mentioned before, Bud Grouse got to play a prevalent role in this segment. And yeah, I thought it was pretty funny how, I thought Bud Grouse did add some humor to this segment. Like, I thought it was pretty hilarious how he wasn't really bothering to try a British accent when Lynn Sr. suggested that he try a British accent. Like, he repeated the sentences, but he didn't bother with the British accent. I thought that was pretty hilarious. And I did think, I thought Bud Grouse had some pretty humorous moments, or a lot of humor came from Bud Grouse, if you wanted my 2 cents on the matter. Or I thought that Bud Grouse's humor was pretty funny, the way how he kind of was just sarcastic or snarky. And yeah, the lasagna, yes, it was brought up before that, Bud Grouse did enjoy Lynn Sr.'s cooking, lasagna in particular. And I'm sure some fans are probably reminded of Garfield with the way that Bud Grouse likes lasagna. Now, I know some fans wonder if maybe that's an intentional reference to Garfield or a coincidence, and I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt if it was an intentional reference to Garfield liking lasagna. Because it has been brought up before that the Loud House was inspired by comics, and Garfield is a popular comic, so I wouldn't be surprised if, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Bud Grouse liking lasagna is a reference to Garfield liking lasagna. And otherwise, I did like seeing Kotaro again. Yes, Kotaro was established being one of Lynn Sr.'s named friends, so it was nice that we got to see more friends of the Loud parents, or see more screen time for at least one of the friends of the Loud parents. It's nice to see it's nice to see what the Loud parents do. It was nice to see more of one of the Loud parents' social experiences in life. Or yes, it was nice seeing one of the Loud parents going about an activity that was for fun. Like, outside of their family lives and outside of work, it was nice to see what one of the Loud parents do for fun. And in this case, we got to see Lynn Sr. and how he enjoys cowbell music. And Kotaro shares that interest in cowbell music too. So I thought that was pretty cool too. Even if that wasn't the main focus of the segment, I did like how this segment did show Lynn Sr. Participating in an activity for fun and interacting with one of his friends. I'm definitely hoping that there will be segments that do that for Rita too. Segments where we get to see Rita hanging out with any of her friends, or Rita participating in any activities for fun rather than being for work-related reasons or for events that relate to the family in some way. So it was nice to see that with Lynn Sr., and I definitely hope that we will see that for Rita too in the future. And yes, that's right. This is probably one of the season 3 segments where Lily plays a prevalent role. This might actually be the only season 3 segment that Lily plays an important role in, or that Lily gets to be a spotlight character in. I'll have to refresh my memory when I rewatch the later entries of season 3 for the future recap and thoughts videos dedicated to those future season 3 entries. But unless I'm mistaken, this might be the only time where Lily's really the spotlight character in a season 3 entry. But we'll see when we cover the future recap and thoughts videos for season 3. Otherwise, I would say that's about it for this segment. So to summarize, I did like how this segment gave Lynn Sr., Lily, and Bud Grouse prevalent roles. I did like how we got to see Lynn Sr. hang out with one of his friends and participate in an activity for fun rather than being work-related or that had ties to the rest of the family. I did find Bud Grouse's moments to be pretty humorous, and I did like the twist involving Lily calling Bud Grouse Dada because Bud Grouse was wearing the shirt the sweater that Lynn Sr. usually wears, partially because it might be a reference to how cartoon characters usually wear the same outfits, but it also, like I said, reminded me of some real-life experiences where my orange shirt has made me recognizable to friends and family members, and they're able to easily find me in a crowd. So, and yeah, I did also like how, I also did like seeing, I did also like how Lily got to have a spotlight appearance again. Even though, it goes to show that even though Lily is only a baby, it's still nice to see Lily get some prevalence. And if only because it's nice to see how other characters interact with Lily. Yes, Lily herself may just be a baby, but the way that she interacts with other characters, or the way other characters interact with Lily, does provide some opportunities for different plot lines, or how certain plot lines might be executed differently depending on which character interacts with Lily. And I would say that's it for this segment. So as of this video, we've now discussed the B segment for, as of this video, we've now discussed the B segment for episode 64 of The Loud House on this channel. Take care, and until next time.